Yeah, one thing that I'm excited about the future of data is as AI progresses.
Welcome to the Data Engineering Central podcast. I'm Dan Beach, your host. Today we have Yuki here. How's it going? Hopefully I pronounced your name right. I didn't even ask that. I should have
Good, good.
asked.
Yep, it's right. Only one people called me Yaki right off the
Yuki.
bat, but
I should have done that.
but most of the people called me Yuki, so it's good.
That's awesome. So for people who don't know who you are, can you just give like a super high level? I mean, you have more followers than me on LinkedIn. I think you should be like, yeah, I don't know. You
Yeah, I'm
should
like,
be
yeah,
interviewing me or something. I don't know.
yeah. I'll introduce myself. So I'm Yuki. I'm based out of Utah in the United States, and yeah, I've been on LinkedIn here and there, like in the past several years, maybe. And I've got maybe 30K
Yeah, I
subscribers, not
saw that.
subscribers, maybe just
Followers,
followers
yeah.
or lurkers, if you call them. And I don't have as many followers as you on Substack newsletters, but I've got a few. One focused on data stuff, one focused on independent consulting, and another one focused on parenting as a dad,
Yeah, I like that
and so
one.
all that fun stuff.
That's good stuff. Yeah. I had I don't know how many followers I have on LinkedIn. I don't pay attention anymore, but I was like, I'm too. Before I had Substack, I was like, I found myself in that spot where I'm like, man, if LinkedIn decides to like delete me or something, that would be it. I need to like expand my horizons. That's
Yeah, because that happens to many
right.
people. That's scary.
It is scary. So I was like, yeah, I think I better start a YouTube and Substack. And then Substack became popular all of a sudden.
Yeah,
It's
your
crazy.
your Substack is like super popular, like one of the most famous popular Substacks in the engineering space for
Yeah, I
sure.
know. I got some friends that are on Substack. They're like, hey, you need to post more notes and like I'm like, man, I'm just an old school Substack user. It's hard to like break those habits of, you just learned to use something way back in the day. And then I don't know, my LinkedIn, I don't know what they did to the algorithm, but I'm pretty sure there's some data scientist who's like, here, filter where name equals Daniel Beach. We're gonna go ahead and get rid of that because
Yeah, the algo is pretty messed up on LinkedIn currently. So
that's funny. Yeah. So how did you get into tech? I want to. Are you like a did you go to school for it? I'm just curious, like your journey into tech and maybe even where you grew up. Was it something that started young?
yeah, I mean, I was not really a techie child growing up. I just loved sports. I started playing baseball since like fifth grade and played until high school. Didn't play in college. I was not good enough. But I still play softball, like sports, in the local league here and there with my wife. My wife played softball for college, so that's something,
Man,
right? So I wasn't a techie at all, and I actually studied like international communications
sure.
at college in Japan. I went
Okay.
to I studied for that like for 2 years, something like that. But I decided to study abroad. I went to a college in Hawaii for like 6 months, and I
Yeah. Why?
studied.
Yeah. Of course, Hawaii. You're like, where are
Yeah,
they
right.
going
It's
now?
just
You're like,
fun.
man.
It was so fun though. It's like you study, but you still play too,
I
and
bet.
that was the best of the both worlds. And we will go back actually, my wife and I, this year to Hawaii. So like we're
Man,
super excited for that.
tell my wife
Anyhow,
not to listen to this. She's jealous. She wants to go. I'm like, man, the airplane tickets are like crazy.
it is, but I think it's worth it. Yeah. Anyhow, so yeah, I studied business actually in Hawaii for 6 months. And so I was doing long distance with my wife at the time, and she lived in Utah. She's from here. And so basically, she just brought me over to Utah, right? That's how marriage works.
Could be worse place. I mean, Utah is sweet. I mean, I've only
Yeah,
been to the northern part, but man,
it's
it's like
great.
a outdoor lover's paradise, right?
Her immediate family lives like close by, like 15 minutes from here. So we
Oh,
have a
nice.
lot of support and stuff.
Babysitters.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
I know how that goes. You gotta have family close by with the young kids. Gotta have a
Yep.
break. Saturday night, go out to eat. No screaming kids for a little bit. I get it.
Yep. It's really needed for parents for sure. And yeah, so I transferred college to a local university here, and I was just thinking about like what I would be doing after graduating college, and I was just intrigued by the fact that you could build like apps, software, things
Sure.
like that on your own if you have an idea as a developer. So I just decided to pursue computer science.
Yeah. So
Yes.
before up to this point, you hadn't written like
No,
no
like not at all.
code. Oh man,
It's like
right
I
on.
think I took because yeah, I got interested in some tech stuff in
Mm-hmm.
Hawaii. So I took maybe one Udemy course on like
Sure.
Python scripting,
Mm-hmm.
and I was very intrigued by the fact that you could write something like that to
Mm-hmm.
automate some processes and stuff like that. And I was just very impressed about how tech works, and decided to pursue computer science in Utah. And yeah, a lot of it was pretty hard because it was really new to me.
Mm-hmm.
Building websites, understanding
Sure.
math, computer science, and it just goes deeper than I wanted,
Yeah.
right?
Sure.
And so, but my college did a great job. By the way, I went to a college called Utah Valley University, local to Utah, and they have great program, and they made it pretty practical in terms of how
Sure.
their classes work, and the teachers, a lot of adjunct professors that have industry experience and whatnot. And so I really enjoyed the experience, overall experience at UVU in computer science. But so I was studying computer science, but I realized that I loved building stuff for myself, but not for like other people. Like if I build something, I want to use it, right? And I took an internship as an iOS developer at
Oh
a
wow.
very early stage startup, and I had no idea what I was doing. But my good friend of mine works there, and he invested in me, and so hired me as an intern. And I was just struggling the whole time,
Like
and I was
Objective
like,
C or something, or like
"No,
what was it?
it was Swift still,
Swift. Okay.
and it was fun, but I had no idea what I was doing. Making changing the code, everything was reviewed by other devs and
Mm-hmm.
whatnot. Um,
But that's how you get your
and
foot in the door, kind of thing.
exactly.
Internship. Yeah.
And around that time, I found something called like data science, right?
Mm-hmm.
Sounds so cool, fancy.
What
And I,
circa? What year would be this? Roughly, what like
it was like
time frame?
20, I don't know, like 20, maybe 18,
Something like that. Okay.
19, 20,
Sure.
22, something like that.
That's because when
Um,
data science was taken off. I mean, it got
yeah,
super popular then, right?
yeah. And I found Kaggle and
Mm,
took some data sets, studied
sure.
Python, how to run a, I don't know, regression test,
Mm-hmm.
whatever that is. Excuse me. And yeah, built a few toy projects using machine learning, and I decided that's what I wanted to do. But it was too late to switch majors, or I guess there was
Mm,
no data science degree offered at the college at the time, and so I just kept going in my CS degree. And but I decided to do an internship in the data world, and I found a data analyst intern where I did some Python scripting, SQL, and dashboarding and whatnot. And I think that was the first data job ever in my life, and I enjoyed it, and just decided to just keep going on that
that was
route.
more like analytics focused, was it? Or
Yeah, analytics focused, and yeah, and just I didn't really, I guess, landing on data science roles per se, and just kept going on analytics BI space,
mm,
and just found that businesses need foundational work than data science. And so yeah, I just stuck with it, and not really I haven't really worked on any like predictive machine learning projects in my career. Maybe one or two simple ones, but can't remember anything of that. And yeah, I guess that's how I get into data.
yeah. Funny you say that. Like machine learning AI, it's all popular, but at the end of the day, like you're right, it's just anybody who's worked around analytics or just data at any place. It's I don't know, 90% of the work is just the same messes, right? Like
Yep,
data
yep.
comes from somewhere, it's a mess. Comes into a warehouse, it's a mess. Analytics, it's just like working with a business, trying to figure stuff out. I don't know. Yeah, it's just there's a lot of fancy stuff, but at the same day, none of that stuff works if you don't have like the basics in place for
Yep,
sure.
exactly.
Yeah, tell us about your book you wrote. When did you write this Polar's Cookbook? I mean, it had to be
Yeah,
fairly recent, right?
yeah, fairly recent. But in the tech, like how fast tools gets
Oh man,
developed, it's like
yeah, you probably need a part 2 and 3 already or something like that.
exactly. Yeah, so I wrote Polar's Cookbook, and I think it was back in 2024 September.
Okay,
So it's been a year and a little bit after its publication.
how long did it take you
Um,
to write it?
yeah, so I got hooked by Polars. Yeah, because
Mm.
I've been using Pandas, like, or everybody in
Sure.
the data
Yeah.
knows Pandas and how to use
Hmm.
Pandas, and it's great. But performance and how it works is not the best way. And the tooling, how the tooling should work and stuff. And so I learned about Polars. I don't know how, but maybe a post on
Hmm.
LinkedIn. I just came across it or something, and just started digging into it. I just fell in love with it right off the bat and just started writing about how I guess maybe code snippets of polars and how it's great and everybody should use it. And after that, publisher just reached out to me on maybe you want to write a book, and I was like, let me see. And talked to my wife, and we decided we just
Good
give it a
idea.
try. At the time, I only had a kid, and so it
Hmm.
was still doable. But now I don't think I can do it. And yeah, so Polish cookbook like includes a lot of I guess code snippets, recipes, um, or that you can use in your day-to-day work using Polars. And yeah, a lot of work went into it. I researched a ton, and yeah,
Do you see a lot of people? I mean, I'm still surprised about how many people are using pandas. Have you seen like in the marketplace or people I use actually I've put polars in production where I work because yeah, I agree with you. I saw it early and it's like this thing is sweet. It's fast. I don't know. It's awesome. Um, have you heard a lot? Have you run into other people that are using it in production? Do you think? I still feel like there's a lot of room to grow there. I mean,
right, right. Yeah, I mean, not like personally. I've seen a few folks using it in production, but not like from my immediate
mhm.
connections, if that makes sense. So in like Polar's only community, then I see some people using it in production. But
I feel like Polars was just getting like started, and then DuckDB came along, and of course,
yeah,
everybody loves SQL, and it's like
yeah.
now everybody's DuckDB. You know what I
But
mean?
I'm sure like there's a lot of people who just switch from pandas to
Yeah.
polars and just using it in production, then but they just don't appear on online, right?
Hmm. Yeah.
Because they're normal people, not us.
Hmm.
They
When
don't
did
bother creating
you
content.
when did you start creating content yourself? Like when was that? Like did that start way back in 2018, whatever? When you did you just start writing, or like how did you even?
I think it was like 2022, 2021 even. Because I was an active lurker on LinkedIn and seeing a lot of posts by other people, and I found them so useful, right?
Hmm.
Just learning about new stuff, what's trending and whatnot.
Hmm.
And I was already using LinkedIn as like a networking tool, just reaching out to people, learning about the company they work at, and what they do in their roles and stuff like that. So I was using LinkedIn already, but not as a content creation tool.
Hmm.
But I realized that I benefited enough from like other people's posts, and I just decided to give it a try and see if my knowledge, what I create, can benefit others
Hmm.
too. So essentially, I just wanted to give it back to the community. And yeah, so it's been like that for the last couple of years, and I'm just enjoying the whole journey of creating content, interacting
Hmm.
with the other folks, and yeah, like my post just led a lot of new friends in
Hmm.
data, and I think that's my favorite part.
Sure. Do you think AI is changing? How is it changing content? Do you think it is? Do you think it makes it easier for someone who's more authentic and just doing stuff? I'm just curious your take on it, you know?
Yeah, I think it's easy to lose authenticity once you start using AI. Even if you're using it to just review the grammars and
Hmm.
rephrasing how you're saying what you're saying, um, and at the same time, like it can boost your productivity if you use it
Hmm.
right. But its risk is it can just lose your authenticity
Hmm.
in using AI for the better or worse. And there's a lot of like I've seen comments that are seemingly generated by AI, and it's so like apparent.
Hmm.
I'm like, this is not you. This is an AI just writing this comment. It's like it's so boring when you're
Hmm.
just chatting with
For
the
sure.
AI comments. It's not authentic, and you can tell.
Hmm.
Um, and so I think there's just two sides of using AI in writing. One, it can boost productivity, but it can lose your authenticity.
Yeah. I've noticed that. Yeah, I don't use AI for any. I mean, I use it for coding, my day job, whatever. Just like anybody else, like you said, I feel like it's a force multiplier. It's a careful line you got to walk, right? You still have to
Hmm.
understand. I think maybe people like me and you are a little bit blessed in the sense of like we grew up like most of our career without it, so like we had to learn stuff ourselves. Whereas like I can see how that would be a slippery slope for somebody new or right come in, you're just getting into data and man, if Cursor can write anything everything for you, what why do I have to learn? Or you know what I
Yep.
mean?
Yep.
Whereas like we've kind of been down some roads, have some experience, so it's like it feels more of like just a force multiplier for me, and I tend not to lean on it. Yeah, I don't use it at all for writing. Um, I don't know what it is. I think you're right. It just seems shallow. I don't know if like boring or shallow is the right word, or I don't know. I would prefer to read something that's written by somebody with all the grammar mistakes, the idiosyncrasies of who they are and how they
Hmm.
talk, right? Because yeah, it's a good way to put it. It's just like not very engaging when it's you can tell. I can tell if it's written by AI. I don't know. Maybe it'll get better, but I'm
Yeah,
waiting for
I'm
it.
sure it'll get better. So I think that's where our challenge is like
Hmm.
when it gets better, how we're gonna adopt it and how we're gonna, I guess, restrict the use of AI in anything we do.
Hmm. Yeah. Tell me more about your career. So like you've been consulting for a while. Like tell me the like what how did you decide to like unlike someone like me, I've not done consulting right. I just go work for some startup for a couple years and go to the next one and what how did you get into the consulting field and what's
Yeah.
it been like and what do you think the future is like for it?
Yeah, so let me say this. I don't say this publicly much, but I'm pretty young in my career in
Mm-hmm.
data, and because I don't tell people publicly that because people judge by the years of experience,
Yeah, for
right?
sure.
But I think I progressed faster
Mm-hmm.
compared to other people in my role in the title, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
But I started, I guess, freelancing or doing consulting work while in college because I realized I was learning stuff and
Yeah.
I knew there would be somebody that could benefit from my work, even
Mm-hmm.
though I didn't have like 10 years of experience, right? And so I just went into Upwork and registered myself as a freelancer and started just reaching out to people,
Nice.
picking up some gigs here and there. And that just made me feel great, right?
Mm-hmm.
Just
Did
doing
you can you make
something.
good money on Upwork or is it kind of like you're just learning at the same time and that was
Yeah,
like
pretty much
half of the
learning. I
yeah.
didn't make a lot, maybe like few grand
Sure.
for maybe 2 years total
Mm-hmm.
while in college. But it was great experience.
Yeah.
I just got to chat with people and how what they're trying to figure out in terms of like data stuff that they're working on. So I guess I think that's the first thing that I did in terms of like consulting and contracting in that realm. One because because I was studying business and
Mm-hmm.
I've been always interested in like doing my own business
Sure.
and freelancing is like a business, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so I was interested in that. So it fits my, I guess, dream or the ideal style of
Yeah.
working
Yep.
pretty well. So that's how it got me into consulting, contracting, things of that nature. Um, yeah, and so in while in college, I took this is pretty random, but I was watching a YouTuber or YouTube like in the software engineering space.
Mm-hmm.
And there was somebody from a college called what's it called? University of Waterloo in Canada. So I heard that college requires students to complete like at least 4 or 5 internships in their
Sure.
field. So I was like, if I was competing these people, I have to do the same, right? So I
Mm-hmm.
decided to take a bunch of internships in the data field, and I did. And I'm glad that I did. I learned a ton along the way. And the last one that I had, they offered me a full time job in their professional services department. So my first job, full time job, was in consulting at a consulting firm, basically. Um, and then I hopped maybe once or twice to a different consulting companies, and after that, I didn't have an experience being an in-house engineer or
Mm-hmm.
analyst, and so I just took a job at a big insurance company, and yeah, and the rest is history. And now, but after that, I hopped to this current company now, the startup that I'm working for as a first data hire. Yeah, I guess that's the journey. Been
Yeah.
working on BI stuff, analytics engineering, all sorts of stuff.
Yeah. It's interesting. You said a couple things there that I resonate with. I think that, I don't know, I always have people sending me messages. They want to learn this, that, or whatever. And it's like, you have to actually, the best way to learn something is to do it. Like do the internship, write the code. Even if you don't have an internship, just go, like you said, go on LinkedIn, find something that somebody posted that looks interesting and go try it yourself. I feel like, I don't know, that's like, it's not a shortcut, but it seems like a shortcut because a lot of people don't want to do it.
Hmm.
Of like, if you want to get good at something, you want to learn something, it means you actually have to put your fingers on the keyboard and fail and try it. And I don't know, it's just funny that it's like a simple thing, but at the same time, it's like, I don't know. It's like
Yeah,
they
it's
just
like
want to take a shortcut. I don't know.
yeah, they like people are looking for the shortest or
Hmm.
easiest, the best path to their ideal job or whatever. But I think in reality, if you just do whatever that you think is good, that's
Hmm.
the shortest path that you
Yeah.
can find.
Yeah. It's like actually, I suppose it's similar to like you doing these different contracts, working at different places. And it's like the more problems you can work on, the more times you can actually fail and like struggle and go through that process of maybe not understanding something, feeling maybe like imposter syndrome, having to struggle through something's not working for a couple days. That's where actually most of your learning happens. It's not in like, not that you shouldn't watch a YouTube or listen to this
Hmm.
podcast to learn something. Like that's all great. Like you should learn, but like the real learning comes from like those struggles. I feel like, the experience that you have to struggle through. And that's where you're going to grow the most probably.
Yep, yep, for sure.
So what, if someone wanted to do what you do now, what advice would you give them considering we live in the age of AI? Like if they're aspiring analytics engineer, data engineer, is there things that you look back on? Is there books? Is there, I don't know, what would you, just some like advice for someone who's listening or watching this and saying, oh man, cursor's taken over. Should I even like learn stuff? I don't know. Where would you start? I guess where would you tell them to start or what
Yeah,
should they
yeah.
do?
I mean, I guess going off of what we just discussed is like try it yourself. Research on your own how the AI is impacting data world, how why people say the fundamentals matter, how AI is not changing our job, or just do your research and come to your own conclusion, not just solely rely on what I say or Daniel
Mm-hmm.
says and other people say. You do your research, and once you come to the conclusion, that's the path you can take, and you just go from there. I think that's pretty much what I did and what I recommend others do. Because, like Daniel says, you have to struggle to figure out the best path for you, and the path probably looks different than what I took and Daniel took and other
Mm-hmm.
people took in working in the data industry. And so I think that's how life works, and there's no shortest path to for everyone. Everybody's path is different, and but if you do your own work, research your job, then you will be satisfied with what you get at the end of the day.
Yeah. I have like a multi-layered question for you. It's kind of um, thinking about like if people are new or they're learning like Databricks, Snowflake, ClickHouse, whatever. It seems like a lot of the data, something that's different from maybe when I was early on in my data career. It seems like there's been a lot of consolidation. Maybe it's Tableau, maybe it's whatever. It seems like there's been a lot of like SaaS vendor consolidation. I feel like there has been. It's like you look at job posts and it's either like Snowflake or Databricks, right? And I'm curious if you see that as something that people should learn. Should they pick up some of these like Databricks, Snowflake? And then the second part of that question is I've seen there seems to be a lot of change happening in the market. For example, like Databricks Genie, you can just like talk about analytics. You've done a lot of work in analytics. It's just like, oh, you can just tell this AI to make this dashboard, and poof. Just curious, what do you think the impact, how you see the market as it exists today, and how those big companies are impacting things like analytics, and what you think the future looks like there?
Yeah, I mean, I think Microsoft has been like one, right? Because like it's a big company and a lot
Mm-hmm.
of companies work in what Microsoft offers. And so I feel Databricks, Snowflake, like those companies are becoming like that in data.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yep.
so, but like I was saying, like if you know one tool, like you can apply
Yeah.
the fundamentals to other
Mm-hmm.
tools. And so, and some people recommend just learning about fundamentals first, but I would say just pick a tool and learn about it. And in fundamentals, concepts just come with it. And so if you enjoy just learning Python, just learn Python, and you probably learn about normalization, denormalization
Mm-hmm.
along the way, and how compression works or whatever. And so yeah, I guess yeah, those companies are definitely impacting the markets and how we operate, and sometimes we have to learn how their tools work
Mm-hmm.
to make those tools efficient and effective.
Yeah, it's interesting. Like, you think about, since you've worked in analytics a lot, it's like, should somebody read the data warehouse toolkit and learn like fact dimensional modeling, or like, Databricks made medallion architecture like super popular now. People argue about it, and it's like, well, you can't ignore the fact that Databricks is huge and that there's a lot of people using medallion architecture. It's just an interesting time to live in. It's like, you should probably learn both. It's just funny to see how, to me, to see how like back in the day it was like, somebody wrote some book like the Data Warehouse Toolkit, Kimball or something, right? And it's like, he made dimensional modeling popular just because he wrote like a book, and it's really great. And now it's just like, you have these behemoth vendors like
Mm,
Databricks. I'm not saying it's bad or indifferent, whatever. I'm just saying it's funny that like they come along and it's like, it's half marketing, half engineering. They're like medallion architecture, and it's like, you don't really have a choice. You have to learn that because it's sort of, like you said, people adopt these tools and they use them, and people start using that language. And if you ignore it, then you're going to kind of look like an idiot or something, you know?
yeah, yeah. Yeah, I guess knowing what market offers or what we have on the market is pretty useful, especially at the startup that I'm working at right now. It's like you know the space, and so they value my opinions, right? But if you don't know and they ask a question about a tool, you don't have an answer, then that's like a bad look on you.
Mm-hmm.
So it's good to be be up to date on new tools, trends, what's happening in data industry. But I guess it all comes down to fundamentals and
Mm-hmm.
what you know.
Yeah. I feel like this may or not be true. I don't know what you think about this. I've worked in analytics for a long time too. I've been a lot of classic data engineering, but I started my career, I was like a business intelligence engineer at one point when that was like popular. And I feel like there's always been sort of a difference. I don't know if difference is the right word, but like the data world has always been sort of separate from the software world, in the sense of like, there's just a lot of messy and particular things about data. There's a lot of involvement from the business, especially when it comes
Mhm.
to analytics. I mean, if I think over the last 20 years, it's like people have been trying to make self service analytics. I've heard that word for like, well over a decade. People have been, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, yeah.
it's just the same stuff just repeated over. And yeah, we get new tools that come along that, may make things easier, new concepts or whatever it is that come along, whether it's medallion architecture or just whatever, all these buzzwords. But at the end of the day, it's like someone has to go talk to someone in product or talk to someone in marketing or sales, and they have to understand, what did they actually mean when they said like net revenue, or like,
Mhm.
how do they count customers? You know what I mean? Like all this sort of quasi technical, sort of quasi business stuff. That's just, I mean, I get AI makes a lot of things easier, but it's like, I don't know that that's necessarily going to be solved just because Cursor can spit out whatever code. It's just like somebody still has to go talk to these people and figure out what's going on. You know what I mean? To bring like
Yep.
something out of their mind into reality, which seems to be, in my experience, it's like a messy process. It's not just like normal software engineering where somebody's like, just go make this app or this website. That's one thing, but there's just so much nuance in the way businesses are run that like translates into the data. That's what I feel like.
Exactly. It's like, yeah, I feel like software engineering in general can be done in itself, but data is like stateful and like a lot
Mm-hmm.
of it comes with business context that we have to figure out. And like AI helps a ton in building data models, data engineering pipelines,
Mm-hmm.
and whatnot, but not the high level stuff like figuring out the definitions of, what, like you said, GRR,
Mm-hmm.
NRR, what they mean. And sometimes company wants to like use a different definition
Yep.
from business to business, and what is revenue means, and
Mm-hmm.
what's cost, and whatever that is that we're discussing, we're trying to measure in the dashboard. Um, yeah, so I think AI is not there yet. It can automate some like engineering and modeling tasks, but not like high level stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, totally. Yeah, sometimes I'm like, am I crazy? Like maybe I'm just being, it's hard to know when I'm just being old and grumpy and like, you know what I mean? Versus
Yep,
like,
yep.
no, it's actually, this stuff is more nuanced than, because it's, especially as someone, a creator, like you're a creator, it's like, it can be sort of like an echo chamber in a sense too. We're online a lot, we're trying to keep up with the trends, etc. And it sort of can create an echo chamber a little bit where it's like, yeah, that's all fun and exciting, but at the end of the day, this somebody actually has to go solve this for real.
Yep, 100%.
Yeah, another question for you. What do you think, like, if somebody, I'm just curious more about your content journey, creator stuff. Do you think someone should still bother doing that today? Like making a Substack, videos, whatever. You think are you going to keep doing it in the future?
Yeah.
Keep writing books, etc.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I have some opinions about writing. And let me say this, I probably won't write another book
No?
for a long term because like it's a lot of work and
A
like
little payoff or something?
yeah, having two kids, like unless you're like Joe Race, right? You write
Yeah,
a very
for
popular
sure.
book that just
Yeah.
pays off, but like mine, probably not. But you can probably keep the name on the internet for a longer time, but
Hmm.
but I don't know if it's worth it, especially if you have like family, kids that you raise and need to take care of. But like content in general, I think it's great. Maybe like maybe there are two folds. One, it'll be just for you, right? You write, and I think writing has a lot of benefits in like making your thoughts
Hmm.
concise, and how you think would be different if you write, and you can organize your thoughts in an orderly manner if you write. And another one is like building personal, what's it called, branding, right?
Yep.
Personal audience, something like that. I'm less like, I guess, focused on that realm
Hmm.
because like I think it's there more benefits in writing for your own sake than building the audience. I think once you have a certain number of followers, it's good to think about how to, I guess, monetize or like make it a
Hmm.
business. But writing in general just helps you, in a different way. That's my opinion, and that's why I write about parenting and other stuff. And I have another blog that's buried in other stuff. It's called stuffbyyuki.com, but that's where I started putting some like very, I don't know, like opinionated perspectives
Hmm.
on my career in that blog. But I don't advertise it because it just keeps it audience small, and I just want to put my raw myself out there. Um, but I guess recommend in general people to write online, even just writing in your journal or something like that.
Sure.
I think that'll give you some benefits in what you're not seeing. And
Yeah.
so I like writing in
Yeah.
general, I guess.
It kind of leads into another question of, because I agree with you, and I feel like it forces you to learn things different when you're writing something, because in your head, you might think you know a lot about XYZ feature, but then you actually try to write a post for someone else. You're like, you realize what you don't understand very quickly about it. And it's humbling because on the internet, people will tell you you're an idiot and what you didn't get right. Like, there's
Yep.
that. Um, but it's about communication, and that's especially in the age of
Exactly.
AI now. It's like, well, if the AI can LLMs can just write all this code, like what makes you not one of the 16,000 Amazon software engineers that got laid off or something, like
Yeah, yeah.
this whole personal brand. Plus, it's like, well, you're actually learning that you're by writing and learning to communicate like that, you're all of a sudden realizing that your value as a data person, as a software person, wasn't actually ever about like the number of lines of code you wrote. It was more about some of these other soft skills. So I'm curious, like with that as like a background, how you would split up, like say a junior engineer, a mid-level engineer, and then like a senior staff plus engineer. Because I think it has something to do with that answer of like, well, it's not necessarily you have to be smart, but it's really not about the code at that point.
Mhm. Yeah, I guess your question is around like what skills needed for each
Mm-hmm.
role level.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like how
I
would you
guess,
break them up? Yeah, if
yeah,
someone is a junior engineer today and they just want to be a senior, they want to go from senior to staff. I'm curious how you view those. Like, what should they work on? What kind of skills are different between a senior and a staff, or a junior and a senior? Yeah.
yeah, I feel like junior, they just take like the tickets or projects
Mm-hmm.
they're assigned and just complete them, and they're not there to be able to complete them well yet.
Mm-hmm.
So they may need some like guidance from the senior folks, or maybe it takes time for them to complete a ticket.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's junior. Intermediate, I think they can complete tasks pretty well, but they don't go, after that. They just do the work and that's it.
It's about the code
And
to them, right? Just like
yeah, yeah, not
do
really
this widget, do
communications.
that widget.
Exactly. And senior, they do their jobs or like tasks to get completely or very well, and they have a great communication around how the thing should work and be done, and they can be a good mentor technically
Mm-hmm.
to intermediate and junior folks. And they have some seniors may have some good communications with the departments
Mm-hmm.
and other senior maybe leaders in CS, CX, or maybe finance, something like that. And I think staff is just like they can communicate it pretty well, and they think about the broader picture than what needs to be done within the data team. Um, and they try to benefit the business than the data team or one department, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So I think the broader picture is something that staff level people have that other people may not have. Is my understanding.
Yeah, yeah, I agree with that. It's more about it's almost like not knowing what code not to write, what questions to ask before you even start writing code or planning. Yeah, they just have a different perspective of like
Hmm.
maybe systems level design or yeah, communicating with other departments and how everything fits into the bigger picture of the business. And yeah, they kind of like the orchestrator of the band or something, the guy up front or girl up front just directing the what's going to happen before it happens for sure.
Yep.
Um, Curious your thoughts on since you're an analytics person, so I'm just going to ask you, and you can say, oh, I don't want to talk about that. I don't know. Is the semantic layer a real thing or not? Is it like real?
Yeah, I guess it depends on the definition of it. It's like, and I think we've always had it, but that's the term came up just in the last couple of years and
Mm-hmm.
got popular. But we have it somewhere or another. Even if you don't have a semantic layer tool, dedicated tool for that, you have it probably in the BA tool or in the data warehouse where you build, reporting tables, aggregated tables. They can act like a semantic layer
Mm-hmm.
basically. And the semantic layer tool helps you kind of enforce that logic across tools. But semantic layer has been here, and we've been just doing it without knowing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. It's like yeah, just like that business definition needs to exist in one place, not 15 different dashboards or
Mhm.
something like that, for sure. Um, do you think that, how do you think, so if someone's like a new analytics engineer they want to get into, how do you think AI and automation is going to change their day to day work? Do you think that Because yeah, I feel like you have people all over. You got some people on LinkedIn that are like, you should never use AI. I hate it. It makes make you an idiot if you use it. Other people are like, well, I'm building stuff in a weekend that took 5 years to make. What part does AI play in your like workflow day to day, and how do you what would you maybe that'll help other people? Is like, oh, how should I use LLMs in my day to day work?
Yeah, so two ways that I use it mainly is one is just coding, building
Mm-hmm.
models, data engineering tasks. That's I don't say trivial, but something that LLM can handle to a certain extent. And another use case is I use it as like a not a friend, but like another data person that I can
Sure.
discuss some approaches and architecture that I'm thinking of, and just coming up with pros and cons, and just to help me drive a better decision on what I'm thinking would be good for a certain problem.
Mm-hmm.
So I think those are the two ways that I'm using and AI for, and others are probably using AI for.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I picked up on some words you said, so I got to ask: data warehouse or lake house? Are they the same thing? Are they different? Like, what's your take? You just is it naming? Is it tooling? Does it matter in the end?
And I think it matters at the moment because implementation is a little bit different, right? But down the road, this is my prediction, but it'll just be in abstracted away,
Mm-hmm.
and it'll be one thing that just we use, and everything will be the same, and whatever is most efficient, effective, we will have it in our hands, and we can call it a day. But now, right now, currently, it's a little bit different. So I think, I guess, if you're getting started in data right now, I think it's good to know how they differ.
Sure. Are you a fan of like Delta Lake or Iceberg, or do you enjoy? What's your like? It's your if you got you're a consultant, you go into a new company. Does it depend on the use case? Would you say, oh, just use Postgres or use? Do you think it like kind of what's your take, or just like, let's just use Delta Lake or Iceberg because everybody else is? What's your
I would
take on that?
say, yeah, I typically choose just that data warehouse like BigQuery,
Mm-hmm.
Snowflake, because it's just easy. It's just
Yeah.
there. You don't have to think about maintaining or making or just cleaning up the files or stuff like that at all with those stuff. But if a client's looking for a very cheap option, you can, do like if Merrill compared with DuckDB,
Mm-hmm.
files stored in like object storage, stuff like that. So that's an option, right?
Sure.
So I guess it depends on the use case, but it's simplest if you choose BigQuery, Snowflake,
Mm-hmm.
just the out of the box data warehouse tool.
Yeah, I feel like Databricks or Snowflake gets the short end of the stick for some reason. Like Databricks versus Snowflake, blah blah blah. But if you look at like Snowflake's numbers that they release, like they're doing quite well. They're
Mhm.
continue to grow. Like clearly, they're doing something right. Like a simple data warehouse, right? And people
Yeah,
keep
yeah,
adopting it. And you said DuckDB, so like, do you like DuckDB? What's your thoughts on DuckDB? It's exploded in popularity.
yeah. I love DuckDB.
Like, who
who
doesn't,
who
right?
doesn't love it? I mean, it's just so useful. Like you can just write up a Python script and
Mm-hmm.
run whatever that you want to run. You can use Polars too, but in a lot of use cases, DuckDB might make sense.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe given your team talents, not many people know exactly what Python is,
Mm-hmm.
but they can write DuckDB queries, stuff like that. And so, yeah, Polar Stack DB, those local compute tools, like they're super useful.
Yeah, I feel like there's been definitely I don't know if a backlash is the right word, but there's definitely been like a resurgence of people understanding that, like, hey, Databricks, Snowflake, whatever, these tools are expensive, especially if you don't pay attention to what you're doing and you don't, people are realizing that, like, man, the software's come a long way. Things like Polars and DuckDB are lazy. They can work on larger than memory data sets super fast. It's like, it's changed the game of like, because there was a time when it was like, oh, you got to use Spark for everything because da da da.
Hmm.
Pandas blows up, so just go use Spark. Well, it's like, well, there's something in between there that would work great, and it's a lot cheaper. So yeah, it's interesting to see that, and I hope it continues to go that way. I feel like there's a lot of money to be saved and simplicity in using these tools that can just run on Airflow or something because they're
Yep,
fast. Yeah.
exactly.
what you're excited about in the future, like where you think data's going or analytics are going, what tools and things you're excited about in the future.
Yeah, one thing that I'm excited about the future of data is as AI progresses, what I'm hoping is like we capture more patterns in how we build pipelines and how we build data models.
Sure.
And I don't know, maybe some companies open source them so that we just plug and play.
Yeah.
And that benefits the whole community, the many companies. And so I think that's one thing that I'm hoping to happen in the future. And I think it'll happen if somebody is nice enough to do that. And in terms of this, where you can find me is like on LinkedIn, Substacks, Utah if you visited, of course. And we go back to Japan every year or so, so you might be able to find me there too.
Nice. What is so what's the name of your Substacks and websites if people want to go check it out?
Yeah, so what I guess you can just go to yukikakegawa.me. That's one website that I put everything in one
Sure.
place.
Yeah, I'll leave a
Or
link to that in the notes of this. Wherever you're watching this, you can go in the notes. I'll leave a link to that.
thanks. And I have Substacks named the Data Toolbox, in what's it called Independent Insights, and Struggling Dad.
I feel you. I'm all about that. I remember when you released that one. I'm like, I'll sign up for that. I can relate.
Yep, I'll have to write more content. I have a backlog of content to write, so
Nice. And then of course they can go find you on LinkedIn. I'll leave a link
yep,
to
yep.
that. And you're posting every week on LinkedIn every day, are you? On
Yeah,
daily
like
LinkedIn.
whenever I feel like posting, I just post. So
Nice. Maybe I need to try less hard, then I'll get 30,000 followers. And
yeah, just go low key and yeah, you can follow us.
maybe LinkedIn has some algorithm that can sense my stress levels, and I don't know. I just need
I
to be
mean,
like calm.
that'd be huge.
Well, thanks for joining us today. That was awesome to interview. We'll have to do it again sometime, and we'll do it again in like a year and see what happened. Maybe we'll be wrong
Yeah.
with AI. Maybe none of us will just be like homeless and have no jobs because AI
You'd
did
like
what you
help
said it
me.
was going to do and is writing all the pipelines for us.
Yep, thanks for having me.
Yeah, thanks.